We already have people today that are struggling to catch up on mortgage payments and rent payments and car payments, and many people are being evicted already. It's hard times for a lot of people. There's people that did put some food away. You got to remember, we have a lot of people in this country. We're not rich. And so we can't store and store and store. We just, can keep a little extra on hand. But even some of those people have gone through what they had put away, and now they don't have anything left, or they're very close to not having anything left. And when they go to the store, they're having a problem. And I will agree, it has a lot to do with where you live. Some places will go in and 1 week they can't find eggs for several weeks. And then all of a sudden they're back in the store again, and someplace else it's toilet paper, some people it's, canned sweet corn. People are struggling to find things, and it varies. And when you have to run from store to store if you need something, well, guess what? You're spending more gas too that you probably don't have the money for. And then you got to think that there's some people out there that are actually working at places that give them really no benefits. They have no vacation pay, they have no holiday pay, and their companies may close down for the holidays, but they don't get paid for it, which means their checks are even shorter then. So we are already looking at some very serious problems for many, many people. And I feel saddened. My heart breaks for them. My heart breaks for myself sometimes. I struggle myself to get by. I'm just an old woman on her last leg. And, I didn't come here because I thought I was going to get rich or anything like that, because I personally don't think any of us have very much time left to be thinking that we're going to get rich off of something, because I think we've pretty much come towards the end of things. But I just wanted to help others to try to get through to what time we had left with what little we have on hand. Because I know there's going to come a time that you're not going to be able to get it at the store because it's just not going to be there. And so I wanted to come up with recipes, because that's what I have to do, by using what I have on hand. In other words, what I've already stored, because I can't always run to the grocery store. And today's recipe is one of those. So, suffer yourself through my unprofessionalism here, and let me give you a really good recipe from some things that I have on hand. But hey, what I have on hand and I put it together, it really does taste good when I'm finished. So let's get started on today's recipe. Now here I have a can of ham, which I didn't have to buy, thank goodness. It was brought to me. It comes from Aldi's. The person said they only paid $2.99 for the can of ham, so that's pretty darn good for that much meat in a can. And I'm going to take this out of this can, and what I'm going to do here, if I can get it out of this can, there we go. And I'm going to cut part of it off. Now the other part I will put away in a plastic bag and put it in the refrigerator for a couple more meals. But I'm just going to take a fork here, and I'm going to chop this meat up into small pieces here. That's what I want to do, is kind of like crumbling it. I guess you could put it in a blender if you wanted to, but just doing it with your fork is fine. It's less dishes to clean up in the end. And I also want to get some beans going here that I'm going to put into a blender, and I'm going to blend these beans really nice together. It's 2 cups of beans I have here, and the beans have a little bit of the liquid. Now, if the beans, you start to blend them and they're just too thick, just add a little more of the liquid from the beans that you cooked, and just blend them until they're nice and blended, kind of like a puree. And then I'm going to put this ham, spam, whatever you want to call it, into a skillet that has a couple of tablespoons of fat in it. Now, I use lard because, like I've said in other videos, lard doesn't go rancid as quick as oil does. At least it doesn't in my case. Okay? Now, there's just a couple of tablespoons in here, and all I want to do is stir it around. I want to kind of heat it and crisp it just a little bit at the same time. And that works good in doing it that way. It gives it good flavor. Now I'm pouring the beans that I blended in the blender right into the same skillet with that crumbled up ham. And we're going to kind of mix this around after I get all the beans out of the blender, because I'm taking a spoon and getting the beans out. Now I don't add any salt because when I cook my beans, they have enough salt. They don't need any more. And so I don't usually add salt to any, beans usually, unless I forget to put salt into them when I cook them. But normally I don't need to do that. But you know how you cook, and so if you think you need to add salt to them, feel free to do so. I'm just going to kind of stir these beans around. I want them to get kind of warm and bubbly. And if you think you need to add a little bit more of oil to them or whatever fat you use to cook with, feel free to add, but just a tablespoon at a time, just to kind of keep the beans from sticking and burning in the skillet. That's all you're looking for. You don't want them to burn. But if you stir them around, it should keep them from sticking so much. But I'm just going to cook these for about 3-4 minutes, maybe 5 tops. And then what I'm going to do with these, once they're nice and bubbly and hot, I'm going to take some tortillas and I'm going to put these beans and the Spam or ham right on the tortilla. Okay? Yes, this is going to be tacos. And I'm going to add a piece of cheese. Now, I have told you people before in other videos on how I take Munster cheese, because it's about close to $5 a pound here, but I have a particular store here that puts it on sale quite often for $1.99 a pound, and I will buy 10 to 15 pounds at a time. This is what I'm going to make with this. I don't use a lot of bread. In the summertime, bread has a tendency to mold. I don't care for bread that's put in the refrigerator. I don't think it makes good sandwiches. It dries out. So I use a lot of corn tortillas for that reason. And other video, I explained how to freeze your corn tortillas by wrapping them. Like, let's say you got 4 people in your family and they eat 4 tacos. That would be 16 tortillas. So you put 16 in a plastic wrap them up, and put them right back in the same bag that the tortillas came in. And you keep doing all your tortillas. You take all your tortillas out of that bag and wrap them. And then put them back in the same bag and then stick them in your freezer. Look at that cheese. Isn't that cheese yummy looking? Well, I'm going to tell you something. This tastes really, really good. And this is a good way to use up those pinto beans and have a really inexpensive, easy dinner that you can make for 3, 4, or 5 people, because you could use more of that ham than I did if you wanted to, because this easily, what I have here, would have made for 4 people, okay? But if you have more people in your family and you want to make more, you can. I hope you enjoy this, because it's from things you have on hand, and I hope you find this helpful. And stay tuned. I'm going to show you how you can dry your own parsley flakes and a whole lot more things and a whole lot more ideas on stored food recipes.